Good morning, beloveds. So I did go to the doctor yesterday, and I actually met the PA, the physician's assistant to the doctor. And the cool thing about where I went is they could do x-rays in-house. And so they took 2 or 3 x-rays, and they were digital. They didn't even have to print them, so it was not come back the next day. So they took digital, and here's the good news, my bones are in good shape. Which still doesn't explain what was going on with my knee. But after talking to the PA, who I really liked, his name was Matt, what we decided to do was a cortisone shot. And that was awful. That was awful. It's a huge needle. It's a big syringe, and it's a lot, it was probably about that much, like when, it was pretty big, like pretty big syringe. And it was really interesting because I was sitting up on the table, and the way he came in, he had his knee up against my leg so that when he injected that needle, I couldn't move my leg, which I noticed, and he laughed when I pointed out, I see why why you have your knee there. Which he thought was funny. But they did use some kind of numb that I think they keep in the freezer because it was really cold. Right towards the end of him spraying it on me, it stung. And then my knee just hurt all night. But when I woke up this morning, it's so much better. So what I'm hoping is that it was just inflamed, and that nothing I was doing would bring the inflammation down. But it's much better. When I did meet the doctor actually did say, for 2 weeks, then start running once a week. Then you can go to twice a week. Then you can go to 3 times a week. I only run 3 times a week. But he's like, stay off of it. And I was like, yes, sir. So I went for a nice long bike ride this morning. He said I could keep biking though. So, the cortisone shot was not fun, but we'll see at the end of today because I'm going to be on my feet all day today. I also think that the 4 days that I had prior to, because I had Saturday and I did nothing on Saturday. Sunday was minimum, and I was on an airplane. And then, I spent 2 days with my family. I think that helped too. I just needed to get off of it. And I see Cleopatra's on today, and she knows about not being able to get off of her knee. So, all right. It is October 8th. Our title is, I am surrounded, upheld, and maintained by a perfect mind. And our quote is, the Spirit of God hath made me, and the breath of the Almighty hath given me life. And that is Job 33:4. The people in all ages who have lifted up their eyes unto the hills of God have felt a surrounding presence and a sustaining life. They have been aware of an indwelling power that was more than a body, more than material living. It has surged up within them and has given them the power of accomplishment. Because this presence is eternal, we can find it and let it use us today as it did the prophets and the wise of old. The living presence which surrounded Abraham, Moses, Isaiah, and Jesus is around us now. And it asks that we behold it and think of it. The glory of God is upon us. We too can lift up our thoughts and become its vessel of expression. The infinite mind surrounds us and is in us. Infinite life sustains us. Infinite power flows through us. All fear is removed, for we are certain who we are and of what we are doing. We arise from the I can't belief into the I will knowing. I am surrounded, upheld, and maintained by the mind. This mind is God forever thinking through me. It knows no impossibility, no weakness, no lack. It loves to live abundantly by means of me. It loves to express power through my hands and my heart. I am strong in the strength of the Lord. I am sustained in all my ways by the indwelling action of truth. I am upheld in righteousness and justice, for all that I am, God is and ever shall be. I walk in the highways of spirit, knowing that only the good of my fellow man. knowing only the good of my fellow man. I rejoice in the Spirit, which fills and floods me with peace. This day is a day of good, and I accept with joy new and finer experiences of life. Well, that was just uplifting. It reminds me of a meme that I saw, I think this morning actually. And it talked about time isn't real. Time is a construct that we created. We measured the time that it takes the Earth to go around the sun. Or, no. Yeah, well, that too. And for the Earth to spin. And we divided up. And while that is very, very useful, we've fallen into the trap of thinking it's real. And it's not. One of my favorite, I don't even remember where I saw it the first time. It's like time was created to boil an egg. A 3-minute egg. Time isn't real. Time isn't real. And we get so caught up into it. And then there's another one that I keep seeing. And I think whatever else, I tend to take like whatever was going on with my knee as a divine message that I needed to slow down. Because, and there it just went. Where was I going? I don't know. And it's gone. It'll pop back up if it's important. But what it was, my knee was like, you need to slow down. You need to sit down. Time. It was about time. And it's gone again. I thought I had it. Well, you know how it goes. If it pops out, it'll pop out. And if it doesn't, then it wasn't important. Because it was something that I read. All right. But time isn't real. Oh, that's what it was. The pace that we are keeping is set for machines, and we are not machines. Which is why we need to be willing to slow down. Because time isn't real. And the machines keep a pace that is just not natural. I mean, look at nature. If we go back and look at nature, nature does things in its own time. And that's what it is. It's like the pace that we're living at. It's crazy. It's crazy. And occasionally we need to pull back and say, you know what? No. No. No is a complete sentence. So I am surrounded, upheld, and maintained by a perfect mind. Now, the cool thing about being maintained by a perfect mind is that means, if perfect means whole, that means absolutely everything is included in that. And that's one of the differences between us and Christian Science. Because yes, we have the same roots. Quimby is one of our ancestors. Mary Baker is one of our ancestors because Mary Baker Eddy learned from Quimby, and Mary Baker Eddy trained Emma Curtis Hopkins, and Emma Curtis Hopkins was one of the great teachers and taught Ernest Holmes. So the biggest difference between us and Christian Science is that we believe in doctors, and Christian Science does not. Christian Science looks at doctors as a failing of faith. And Science of Mind says, no. Doctors are expressions of God as well. And so when we go to a doctor, then we are invoking the perfect mind. We're just invoking a different part of it. The problem of our material existence is that because while we are in the material existence, while we have access to all of God all of the time, because we are using a material vessel, it's limited. It's limited. We can't have it all at one time. So occasionally it's a good idea to go to another part of God who is accessing a different part of God at the same time that you're accessing your part. And so you go to that part of God and you say, all right, God, I need some help with this knee. And that part of God goes, oh, well, this is the work that I've done. Let's see what we can do. And so we recognize that everything under the sun was created by God. And that includes doctors, and that includes medicine, and that includes all of it. It's all included. So, they're just accessing a different part of God. So, maintained by a perfect mind. Maintained by a perfect mind. All right. The Spirit of God hath made me, and the breath of the Almighty hath given me life. This is where we start. This is where we come from. Job 33:4. So the people in all ages who have lifted up their eyes unto the hills of God have felt a surrounding presence and a sustaining life. We recognize that there is a pattern. We recognize that there is a pattern and a patterning intelligence. We recognize that there's something behind the scenes, something that we can grasp, but not fully. And it makes us want to strive a little bit more. They have been aware of an indwelling presence that was more than a body, more than a material living. It's like, we know that there's something more. We know that there's something more. It has surged up within them and given them the power of accomplishment. Because it's reaching beyond the material. The material world is wonderful. And it can be all of that. It can be all of that. But it's not all there is. And sometimes what we want to do, we want to be Dorothy and we want to pull the curtain back. We want to take a look at the man behind the curtain. In Dorothy's case, or in our case, the spirit behind the curtain, the patterning intelligence behind the curtain, the recognition that it is not a personality, but a pattern. And a pattern that's not bound by time and space the way we are while we are in this material existence. We agree to the being bound by time and space. We agree to it when we come here. With the understanding that we never lose our access. We choose to limit our access, which means we can less limit our access. I mean, we can unlimit it too, but not all the time, because then we'd be crazy. Probably crazy in a good way, but still, go read the prophets. Go read the prophets. Go read any sacred literature, and you'll see it. The more access you have to God, the crazier you sound to people who do not take the time to create that access. All right. Because this presence is eternal, we can find it and let it use us today as it did the prophets and the wise of old. And then we sound crazy and we just have to go with it. It's okay. The living presence which surrounded Abraham, Moses, Isaiah, and Jesus is around us now. And it asks that we behold it and think of it. Time isn't real. Time isn't real. So the presence that was, is, will be, always. There is nowhere that God is not, and that is in time and space. The glory of God is upon us. We too can lift up our thoughts and become its vessel of expression. Okay, right there. We too. You don't have to be a prophet. You don't have to, I'm going to use the word, you don't have to be special. Because each and every one of us is special in our own way. Each and every one of us is special in our own way. We are all gifts of God. We are all gifts of God. And we are all beloved children of God. So it's like you will never look in the eyes of someone that God does not love. You will never look in the eyes of someone who is not a beloved child of God. You will never look in the eyes of someone who isn't a gift of God. And that may be different than saying a gift from God. You can think about that. That was the sentence I just used. Infinite mind surrounds us and it is in us. Infinite life sustains us. Infinite power flows through us. You want to get something done? There's your sentence. Infinite mind surrounds us, sustains us, the power flows through us. All fears removed, for we are certain of who we are and of what we are doing. We arise from the I can't belief into the I will knowing. I really like that, because a lot of times we say I can't. And it's okay to say I can't, okay? If you are willing to amend it with yet. I can't yet. Because when you say I can't, then you're cutting yourself off. But if you say I can't yet, it means you're working on it. You're working on it. Jared asked me to do one-legged bridge, and I was like, is it okay that I can only get my butt, a few inches off the floor? And he says, yes, you'll get there. So, yet. So I'm moving from the I can't belief into the I will knowing. I am surrounded, upheld, and maintained by mind. This mind is God forever thinking through me. All right. I recognize my patterns. Now, everybody has some unhealthy thinking patterns. And when we recognize those unhealthy thinking patterns, then we go, that's not God. Let me go back to God thinking. Let me go back to spirit thinking. Let me go back to right thinking. It knows no impossibility, no weakness, no lack, which is why I said I can make a difference between God thinking and not God thinking. It loves to live abundantly by means of me. It loves to live abundantly by means of you. It loves to express power through my hands and my heart. I am strong with the strength of the Lord. You are strong with the strength of the Lord. I am sustained in all my ways by the indwelling action of truth. I am upheld in righteousness and justice, for all that I am, God is and ever shall be. Can you say that? Go look. I challenge you to go look in the mirror. Go look in the mirror and say, where I am upheld in righteousness and justice, for all that I am, God is and ever shall be. I challenge you to say that and look in your own eyes when you say it. All right? I walk the highways of spirit, knowing only the good of my fellow man. I rejoice in the spirit which fills and floods me with peace. This day is a day of good, and I accept with joy new and finer experiences of life. All right, so the mission today, should you choose to accept it, and I'm sure you heard several that would make it good, but I'm going to go back to that other one. Our mission today, should we choose to accept it, is to lift up our thoughts and become a vessel of Spirit's expression. Okay? And that's what I'm talking about. I mentioned it a minute ago, where I said we know when we're thinking God thoughts and we know when we're not. If we are focused on lack, if we are focused on limitation, if we are focused on that, we are not thinking God thoughts. So when we catch ourselves thinking those kind of thoughts, which are not God thoughts, then let's go back and remember who we are. Let's go back and remember who we are. Remember that we are vessels of expression of Spirit. We are vessels of expression of Spirit. And we are always surrounded, upheld, and maintained by that perfect mind. And that perfect mind means whole. Perfect mind means whole. All right. The other thing, as I always encourage you, and I'm going to encourage you every day to do something loving for yourself, do something kind for yourself, do something compassionate for yourself. Whatever it is, how big it is, how small it is, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But I want you to practice that on yourself, because you deserve your own loving, kind compassion. You are a beloved child of God in whom God is well pleased. You deserve it. You deserve it. And it can be as small as a cup of tea and as big as a day off. Whatever it is. Every single day. Because you deserve it. And practice makes permanent. Practice makes permanent. I want you to create a default setting of kindness, of compassion, of lovingness to yourself. But I also want you to create a bank of it, so that when things hit those bumps, because we all have them occasionally, that you have a bank to draw on. And that when you meet people that need a little extra, you have plenty to share. You have plenty to share. All right. I also encourage you to do something that engages your mind and your body, whatever that looks like. A walk, a run, a bike ride, a gentle stroll. I do plenty of physical therapy, so, whatever. Go get some sun. First thing in the morning, a little bit of sun on the face really does make a difference on resetting those sleep and energy and those hormone cycles, and it can just make for a better day overall. And we've got sun, so go take advantage. And drink plenty of water. Big believer in water. Hydrate. We're about 80% water anyway, so we should drink plenty. Whatever else you choose to do, please open the windows of your soul. Allow the breath of heaven to remind you you do live in heaven right here, right now. It's all around you. Just look for the good. See it. Because the more you look, the more you see, the more there is. That's the way it works. All right, beloveds. It is Friday. The High Mysticism book study is today at 6:30. So if you're interested in that, you can email the info@creativelife.org for the Zoom link for that, because that's the book that Reverend Jesse has been working out of last month and this month. High Mysticism by Emma Curtis Hopkins. She's an amazing woman. And I think that's all that I know that's going on. But get on the mailing list, then you'll know for sure. And yeah, and tomorrow's Saturday. Oh, tomorrow is the opening day of the Renaissance Festival. I do not know how I'm going to do this. I may not be on at 9 o'clock tomorrow. I don't know. I'll have to figure that out. All right, beloveds. I'll figure it out. I may just take a break and do it a little bit later if we have the streaming capacity out there. Otherwise, it may be late at night. All right, beloveds. Do what you need to do to make it a great day, an amazing day, a wonderful day, a fantastic day, a good day. And if that is too much pressure, simply have a day. All right? Reverend David should be on around 5 p.m. with you. I'll figure tomorrow out. I don't know what it's going to look like. I'll figure it out. And you remember that you're a beloved child of God. All right, beloveds. Until next time, catch us on all the social medias. Creative Life Spark or Creative Life Spiritual Center, and I am the Running Rev Ryan on most of the platforms. I'll get there on the TikTok eventually. All right, beloveds. Have a wonderful day.